Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Della's Voice. I'm super excited for today's show. It's going to be one of those shows that could potentially change your life. So stop whatever you're doing and just relax and watch. My guest today is the amazing Rodrigo Diaz. And I'm so excited for you to be here. And I want to thank you. Rodrigo is a best-selling author. He's a motivational speaker, and he's a spiritual teacher. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know him in the past few months. And I'm super excited for what he's bringing to the table today. Because today we're going to wake up. We're going to remember how to imagine, and we're going to find the magic in our lives. So welcome, Rodrigo, to Della's Voice.
Thank you, Della. Thank you for having me here. I am very excited to talk about magic and how that impacts you.
Let me start by asking you, Rodrigo, how did you start on this journey of finding magic?
Wow. Funny fact is that I have been practicing magic, like magic tricks.
Actually, magic.
Yeah, magic tricks. The art of the illusion of magic for about 7 years. And I just love, out of that, I love how something impossible becomes possible, even if it's for 3 to 5 seconds. But it was not until a year and a half ago where there was a lot of sicknesses that hit my body at the same time, where I had to really look inside, because I have always tried to look for something in the outside to make me feel happy. But I feel like right now there was a message inside of me telling me what needed to change was inside. So that's what triggered the look for real magic. And my analogy of something impossible becoming possible, I became determined to finding how that really applies to you, to me, in our daily lives. And now, through the book that I put out there, combining some concepts from spirituality, quantum physics, and neuroscience, I have created real magic in my life. And that's what I want to share with the world.
Wow. Okay. So you talk about breaking the habit of being yourself in order to experience magic in your life. And so I want you to explain a little bit about that, because for a lot of people, we live the way we live. We have habits, we have routines, we have a way of life. And so sometimes we find ourselves in a rut. And if I'm not mistaken, this is what you're talking about, breaking the habit of being yourself. If that resonates with you, what I'm saying is that, could you explain about that a little bit?
Absolutely. And I think you definitely hit on where the miracle or the magic starts. And you mentioned that you might be living a habitual life. And for me, understanding what I'm about to tell you has completely changed my life. I think the conversation of habits goes deeper than just saying, I brush my teeth. That's a habit, right? We know the definition of a habit is something that your body has done it so many times that you don't need to pay attention to the action. Like brushing your teeth, like texting or driving, or for some of you, texting and driving.
Yeah. Mr. Bean.
Yes. But then understanding the next part is what really started making me create magic in my own life. The way you feel every day, it could be some stress, anxiety, anger, sadness. If you feel like this most of the day, those are habits that you have created too.
Mhm, mhm.
So that was the first level. Wait a minute, if I'm feeling anger and stress, that means I have created a habitual self that's what I feel by default, no matter what comes around. Then the next, and then I ask myself the question, so maybe I can create the habit of feeling happiness, bliss, abundance, and joy. So that was the first kind of aha moment. The second aha moment was to realize that I am a habit. You are a habit. And what I mean by that is your name, your nationality, your gender, even your age group, things you did not choose, right? You didn't choose any of this, have now become a habit that you identify yourself with. So, for example, I am from Mexico. I am Mexican. That means in my head, that means, oh, Mexicans are friendly. They like tacos. Like there's already a habitual pattern that I identify myself with. And I didn't
So
even
your
choose
so
these
your
things.
habits kind of become part of your identity, or your identity becomes a part of your habits. I don't know how.
And I
I
think
think
your
it works.
habits become your reality without you
Your
even knowing.
reality. Mm,
Mhm.
okay.
And so your name, the way, in this case, for example, Della, has a connotation for you. You have given, throughout your life, you have given Della a connotation of who Della is. So now, if I tell you, hey, who are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. All you're describing to me are the patterns you have chosen to be in the past. So to close this thought, all the information you related with, like your name, your gender, nationality, or age group, when you wake up in the morning, are actually thoughts that were created in the past. Therefore, you are not living in the present moment. As soon as you wake up, you remember who you are, which are habitual thoughts. Therefore, you start the day living in the past.
So, why is this important to talk about, Rodrigo? What happens if we don't address this? What's the downside of living in our habits?
That's a wonderful question. And what happens if you're not aware of this, or you're not checking in with what your habits are? It could happen to you what happened to me. You're going to wake up 7 years and realize that your entire life has been a loop, an endless loop. Maybe you wake up depressed, like I did, anger, like I did, sick, like I did. So if you're able to start taking a look at how you feel every day, or the person you have created in your own imagination, as soon as you take a look at that, you can change that. If you don't like what you see around you or how you feel inside of you, you have the power to create a new habit. And that's where the magic starts. Just the awakening of self, the awakening of taking a look at, wait a minute, if my life is not what I want it to be, has nothing to do with everyone else, has everything to do with me. And that's where the change happens.
And for you, this change happened. Did you say 7 years? How long ago?
It happened 2 years ago.
2 years.
The 7 years is after 5 years of being in this 7 year loop, disease had come into my life. And the one that triggered the most was my appendix exploded. So I obviously had to be rushed to the hospital. And therefore, there were more things inside of my body that were not correct. And I had one thought: if I don't change how I think and how I feel, I might not be here in 1 year. And that was 2 years ago. And that's when I started to be like, wait, who has Rodrigo been? What are the habitual thoughts and feelings I am constantly thinking of? And maybe I can change those.
That's a breakthrough.
Mhm.
So if you've had a breakthrough in your life, you know what Rodrigo's talking about, because I had a breakthrough. I call it the spiritual awakening.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's that moment of truth, that moment when you actually wake up and say, I don't like where I am in my life. I don't want to live like this anymore. And that's a wonderful, wonderful moment.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Della.
So then what happened?
I think is the question you might have in your head. Where do I start? Be- because you notice, right? You notice, wait a minute, my life is not what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Something beautiful I want to give you today is that after all my research and writing and evolving, I've realized that depression is simply your own body telling you, I don't like who have you chosen to be. Why don't we just change it a little bit, see what's in the other side? So I think that's such a loving thought. So you are not hard with yourself if you're happening to be going through something similar. It's just your body saying, I love you. Can we be something else?
Mm.
So what happened is I had the question, where do I start? And I didn't know. And I just allowed, because my intention now has changed. My intention is I want to find how to be a better self, how to be happy. So it took a little bit of time, about 4 to 5 months of just being open to something new, to start finding either the right material or the right inspiration to what now is me writing a book about how to create and experience magic in your own life. So it just starts with one question. Where do I start? And that's okay.
So you read the book Sleight of Mind.
Yes, I wrote it this year.
Um, Wonderful. And I want to ask you a little bit about that book.
Mhm.
Why did you call it Sleight of Mind? And what is it about? And I wonder if there's a passage in the book that really speaks to you. I mean, you wrote the book, so I'm sure you love it all. But if
Yes.
there's a passage that you would pick from the book, a short paragraph that you could maybe read for us to kind of give us an idea of what your book is all about.
Yes, thank you. So before I can explain what sleight of mind is, I'm going to take a step back and explain what sleight of hand is. So sleight of hand is the term magicians use to explain that I have the ability to manipulate small objects like a ring. You want to see something cool? Yeah? A sleight of
Let's
hand.
see.
So I have a ring and I found a new way to put the ring on and to take it off. That's just the premise, right? A new way to take it off and put it back on, right? Simple. So if I just take the ring off, can I just throw it back on? It just simply like appears, right? And that is sleight of hand.
Whoa.
The ability I have to use small objects to give you the experience of magic. I'm going to let that settle in. So, sleight of mind, I refer to the innate ability that you have to use your own thoughts and your own feelings to create magic in your life. That's the concept. So, what I like about what intrigued me the most is I found, because I've been performing magic tricks for a long time, and I've seen people's eyes lit up I discovered three things that when I say magic now, think about miracles in your life now. There's such an interesting correlationship between magic and miracles, like magic tricks and creating miracles in your life. Number one, I discovered that magic happens in the present. Like if I was showing you that trick and you for some reason pay attention to a notification on your phone or something else and you missed that second, you missed it.
Mhm.
The same happens with miracles. Miracles only happen if you are aware of them and you're here. Number two, magic only happens in the unknown. And that's a huge one. It's like a joke. If I was to tell you how, listen, I'm going to tell you the funniest joke, like this is the punchline, but let me start, then there's no magic, there's no laughter. But most people have the problem with the unknown. And that's what I talk about habits. You want to know what you're doing in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have created a machine of I want to know. I'm not comfortable with not knowing. But miracles happen in the unknown. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a miracle. And number three and last is, oh, this is the most incredible one. Magic happens in your mind. I know where the trick is. I'm doing it. I know where the move is. So where does magic really happen? It doesn't happen in my hands. It happens in your imagination. I just create the right environment for your mind to create the magic. So that's beautiful. That's what I know now, that if I want to create magic in my life, you want to create magic in your own life, where do you have to go? Within, in your mind.
Mhm.
You ask about a chapter in my book, and I also wrote it with childlike wonder mentality. Because childlike wonder, whenever I perform tricks for adults, I love performing tricks for adults. I see the kid coming up. And when you,
Yes.
it's funny because for tell me.
Because right before you said that, childlike wonder, and it's amazing because I was just thinking that too. Um, you know, you can say, "Oh, well, I know that didn't really happen. Well, whatever. I'm just not gonna believe it, right?" But what's the fun in that,
Yes.
right? To have an open mind, to have a childlike wonder mind allows me to enjoy this moment of not knowing.
Yes.
Like you said, it allows me to really enjoy in the belief that magic does exist. And a lot of people resist that because, oh, it's so naive. Why don't you live in the real world? And so I want to eventually take this talk over to that direction, if you don't mind.
Of
But
course.
please continue with childlike wonder. But I just want to make sure that you are streaming live on your Facebook page, because we totally forgot to check that right now.
I
I
am.
Are you okay? Because
Yes.
I have, okay, good. Just want to make sure that your audience is watching you. I'm showing on my Facebook page, but just want to make
Yes.
sure you have the same. And I want to invite everybody to please give us comments if you can resonate with this. Right now we have a few friends watching: Colleen, Paula, and Farah. Thank you so much for watching. Other people are watching too. I just can't see the names. But if you want to leave us some comments, if you want to give us your 2 cents, how do you feel about magic happening in your life? So go ahead, Rodrigo. Thank you.
And it's so interesting how you just touched on the premise of why I wrote the book around magic. And it's exactly what you said. If I show you a magic trick for the first 3 to 5 seconds, you are at awe. You're like, whoa, a good one, right? A good one.
But that was a good one, by the
Thank
way.
you. But then after those 5 seconds, your analytical brain kicks in. It's natural. How did he do it? He's not going to fool me.
Mm-hmm.
So the premise of the book was, well, what if I can teach someone to live in that state of wonder, allowing magic into their lives 24/7? So those 3-5 seconds becoming 24/7. I fell in love with that idea. And that is my purpose today, moving forward, to tell everyone, to tell you at home that you can create magic in your life. It's at your disposal. It's already inside of you. Yeah.
So what could happen potentially? What could happen if we could live in that childlike wonder,
Mhm.
for the most part of our day, and believe in magic happening? And how could our lives change, Rodrigo?
I can tell you that the person that is talking to you today did not exist 2 years ago. Even 1 year ago, did not exist. Since I've allowed magic into my life, I have written a book. I would have never thought. Second language being English. I've always, a habit, right? I've always thought I was good with pictures, not words. So I just let all of that go. I wrote a book. I have become an international motivational speaker where I have traveled to Mexico and around Ontario here in Canada, sharing the content of my book. Also, I've joined a beautiful community that is helping change the world called Pure Spiritual Intelligence. I have attracted new jobs, new opportunities that I wouldn't know where to start sharing. But I want to inspire rather than tell. I want to inspire you. Just know that magic is already within. You just have to allow it outside of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how are we going to do that, Rodrigo?
That's the question, the how. I think it's all starts too with acknowledging that you are not the habits that you have told yourself to be. You are not this body. Again, this gender, this nationality, this name. You're not those things. So the question is, who am I, right? If I'm not those things, who I identify with, what am I or who am I? And I think for me, the best way I could put it for someone is, what am I? Instead of who am I, is what am I? And I realized I am magic itself. And I give an example. Imagine or remember when you were a little kid and you maybe fell from your bicycle and you got a little scratch on the hand. What would happen in 2 weeks to that scratch?
All healed.
It disappears.
Mm-hmm.
As if by magic, it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to understand, wait a minute, there's something inside of me that wants me to live. This energy, this life force. You can call it the universe, you can call it energy, you can call it God, you can call it source. There is this life force inside of me that simply wants me to live. So maybe that's who really am I, or that is what I am. I'm this love force, this life force that is inside of me, trying to come out all the time. So I started to pay attention to that part of me. I started to identify myself with the miraculous thing that happens inside of my body, your body, anyone's body. And that was just a tiny shift that allowed me to start allowing miracles and magic in my life. I allow myself to identify with the pure magic that lives inside of me. Maybe that magic knows where to take me. And it's that divine intelligence that you have a purpose in life. With me is sharing this magic with you.
Yes, because I do believe that everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're here, there's a reason for that. If you're talking about this right now, there's a reason for that. And if I'm if I'm talking about this right now with you on Della's Voice, there's a reason for that. And if someone's watching this right now and they have this tiny little spark of, I wonder, right? There's a reason for that.
Absolutely.
So you talk about the neuroscience.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about that.
Mm-hmm.
You say you can create the neural pathways to feeling joy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the magic. I mean, you're creating magic. And so can you explain this in very, very simple words that I could understand?
Yes.
And make it really clear for me, please. Thank you.
Challenge accepted. and why I love this type of conversations is because I've always thought the topics of neuroscience or quantum physics or spirituality were very complicated. But the way I understood them were very simple. And that's what I want to give people. So I don't deal with complicated, I don't have a PhD or any of those, but I deal with simple concepts. So thank you for that question. When I talk about neuroscience, and we have been talking about it, is habits. In your brain, again, you don't think about it when you walk. You just do it because you have the neural pathway to do it. So the question is, how can you create the neural pattern, the neural pathway to feel joy? And the simple answer is with your wonderful human imagination. And I'll get a little bit into it. First, what I'm about to say blew my mind. Is scientific research that your body does not know the difference between an experience that happens in the real world and an experience that happens in your imagination. So when you think about perhaps that person that cut you off in traffic or just that bad experience 5 years ago, and if you think about it and recreate it in your mind, you start to feel angry or sad, depending. So it is as if you're living it to your body, it is as if you're living that experience right now. So the power of imagination is where the magic is. So what you could do at home, and that's a lot of what I did, is create a space for imagination, a sacred space at home where you can spend 15 to 20 minutes playing with your wonderful human imagination and start creating a script. And we can get into that. And that's a little bit of what I do with my workshops and whatnot. In my book, it's also there.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about that too. So if you could talk about that, because I'm going to attend your workshop. So I want people to know about your workshop. So can you give me 1 second? I want to acknowledge some people that are on here right now. So Sherry is watching us. Thank you so much, Sherry. Omar is, oh, look at de acuerdo, hermano.
Oh, some Spanish audience you have.
Yes, what does that mean?
That he agrees with what I'm saying.
Yes. Aha, hermano is brother. I know that.
That
but...
is correct.
Okay, cool. So I can read it, but I won't understand it. Thank you so much. Okay, so lots of people watching, and this is great. This is great. This means that our word is getting out there, Rodrigo.
Beautiful.
And you're touching lives. Thank you. Okay, keep going, my brother.
We were talking about imagination, correct?
Yes. Is that kind of what, so I guess in when we talk about visualization, is that kind of the same idea, using our imagination? It's the same as visualization?
In my terms, in Rodrigo's terms, it is not.
It is not.
It is not.
Okay.
Visualization is picturing images. That's my interpretation of visualizing. It's just picturing images. I'm at the beach, or I see myself at the beach. That's just pictures. Imagination, for me, is the combination of two things: thoughts and feelings. But the most important one is the second one, feelings. For me, that is imagination. And what I talk about in my workshops, well, what I help you do actually is build the script, the perfect script for you. So then you can go home, and when you, those 20 minutes that I'm talking about, when you close your eyes, you know what you're doing, because that's something I struggled in the beginning with. I didn't know what to do when I closed my eyes. I remember the first time I tried to meditate or imagine my dream life, and I closed my eyes, and 30 seconds went by. I thought it was like 20 minutes, but it was like I'm like, oh, what happened? Not, it was only 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be scary in the beginning. So what I do is help you understand what happens when you close your eyes. Imagination, because you are combining it with feelings, and the key is you must think, you do not think of what you want. And that's a big concept I work with in the workshops. You don't think of what you want, because if you think of, you're separating yourself from it. I am here and I think of. Let's say going to Hawaii. That's something you will like. But if you think from, that's the game changer. Thinking from your desire means you're going to Hawaii as soon as you close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling the heat. I am smelling the beach right now, because your body doesn't know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to create wealth, if you want to create a new job, a new trip, you think from, you imagine from. And the more you do it, your body will think it has already happened. Therefore, when you wake up and it has not yet happened, your body will create the habits and will pull you into that experience as if by magic. And that's what has happened to me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to share something with you. Okay.
Mm.
Um, I have imagined this scene over and over again. I am at the bottom of steps going up on this huge stage, and it's in Chicago. I don't know why. I just know it's in Chicago. And I'm waiting to go on stage. And I can hear the vibrations of thousands of people waiting for me to go on the stage. And it's shaking my soul. It's shaking my body, these vibrations. And I can feel the lights, the warmth of the stage lights behind the curtains at the bottom of the stage. I have imagined this so many times, Rodrigo. It brings tears to my eyes.
Yes, I'm with you.
So I know what you mean when you say feelings, because the feelings are so powerful.
Yes.
They make it real.
I'm going to share a big aha from my book that it came to me. The word feelings, right? If I was about to speak Spanish right now, would you understand?
Probably.
Oh, like the whole conference, the whole hour, would you be
No,
like, okay.
no.
What I'm trying to get to is that if I was to hear someone speaking Russian or Cantonese, I would not understand
Hmm.
because language is limited. Language, words, were created by the human being, the human species. So there's limitations to it. But feelings is unlimitedness. If I was to hug a dog, the dog knows I love him. If
Hmm.
I was to hug someone in Russia that I've never spoken to, that person knows I love him. If I was
Hmm.
to hug a tree, the tree will feel love. So feelings are the language of the universe, source, God, if you will. So when you at home want to ask for something, remember it's not has nothing to do with the words. But all we do with the words and all we do with the pictures is just try to pulsate the feeling. That's the only thing you use thoughts as a tool to get your heart to feel. So yes, I love, thank you for sharing that beautiful dream that I can see it coming true as soon as perfect.
As soon as perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you talked about creating a space for
Mhm.
yourself where you are hopefully not disturbed, so where you can go to and spend a few minutes working on your imagination. What else do we need? What else do we need to create this magic?
A lot of it has to do with the decision of I want magic in my life. I want miracles, to experience miracles in my life. And as soon as you have that intention, you stop being your old self. Because your old self, perhaps the one that was very angry all the time or very stressed, never thought of, I want to allow miracles. So as soon as you jump into that allowingness, that's the first step. And that's the first big portion. Then is what we talk about, create a space, 20 minutes. I personally do a routine of an hour and a half, but I grew up to that because I wanted to create a big change in my life. So I went and created that space, that safe space where sky is not even the limit. There are no limits. So it's a little bit of, again, what I help people do in the workshop. It's something that step by step, I take them to create that, to take a look at that childlike wonder, because we actually have a misinterpretation of childlike wonder. We just call it childlike wonder because we see that magic eyes, the power of imagination in a child. That's when we saw it first. Then as adults, we just refer to it as childlike wonder. But I encourage you at home to think about it as creative wonder. That's why it has never left you. It's part of who you are. It's creative wonder, and you're creating your own experience, your own magic, as soon as you allow yourself to be in that space of imagination or trying everything and nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong.
I wonder if, as adults, we can pinpoint some areas in our lives where we are creating the magic without even knowing. So, does anything come to your mind?
Absolutely. It's funny because I remember I went looking for miracles to prove if they were real. I went looking for magic to prove if it was real, just to find out that I am a miracle and that I am magic. So everyone, you watching this already proves that magic is within. I think that you might not have, and I have not really learned how to look or speak miracles. So as soon as you start with the small, what we call small miracles, I have internet. How did that happen? I don't know. I have air to breathe. I have food on the table. As soon as you start to notice little miracles, big miracles start to appear. Why? Because to the universe, source, God, if you will, there's no such thing as a little or a big miracle. They're all the same. So therefore, you want to allow more miracles within into your life. My wife and I started to do this about 6 months. Every meal we're about to have, it's our version of saying grace, if you will. But we looked at the meal and we start to imagine, oh, wow, the vegetables had to be grown maybe 6 months ago. And someone had to pick them with their bare hands, and someone had to drive them to the store. Like, when was that person born? Like, how did the fish that we're eating, where was it swimming? Thank you for giving your life so I can eat. Like, we started to try to picture the big picture. Where did all this food had to come? Who touched it for this food to be here in front of you and I right now? And sometimes, yes, tears come to your eyes when you allow them, because that's real magic. Everything that needed to happen for you to have a meal that is in front of you, that is recognizing magic, and that's allowing magic. So again, it's a little bit of that habitual mindset of creating the language of miracles and how to see a miracle.
I think for a lot of us, we don't give ourselves the time, to really take the time and, like you said, look for it, look for the miracles. When was the last time that you looked at your food and ask yourselves those questions, right? Yes. And you're so right. Everything around us is a miracle. I mean, the fact that I'm here is a miracle. But we take it for granted.
Yes.
What comes in our way so that we can be aware of it? What is it that closes our eyes, Rodrigo?
I could describe it better with a very, very short story.
Okay.
And some of you might know it. So imagine a little lion cub got lost and found itself on a big farm full of sheep, right? So a little lion grew up with sheep, and the sheep, because they were loving and caring, took care of the little cub. So the lion, her entire life, the lioness, believed she was a sheep. So she started to speak, and she was meh instead of roaring. One day, after 20 years, a lion comes and sees the lioness living in the sheep and doesn't understand it, and tells the lioness, come here, I'm going to show you who you are. So the lioness and the lion go back to a pack of lions, and the lioness, this is who you are. You're the king of the jungle. And look at those lions, and the lions are roaring. Now you try. And the lioness is very confused. The first time she's seen all of this, and she goes, right? Only bang comes out of the lion that believes she's a sheep. At the end of the day, she does roar like a lion. But that's what has happened to you and I. We have been taught to live as sheep. And it was nobody's fault, right? Like, we grew up with caring parents that taught us that that's what's normal, to bang. But the awakening that you have, that I have, that life is trying to point you at, is the roar within, is to see at the kingdom and be like, this is me. I am powerful. I am unlimited. I am happy. I got it all from the beginning. I just didn't see it. So it's just becoming aware that you already have everything you need to live your dream life. That's the key. You are a lion. You were just not raised like one. So it's unlearning everything. Instead of learning, it's unlearning.
Hmm. Cool.
Mhm.
Cool. And that's what you talk about when you say breaking the habit of being yourself in order to create and experience magic in your life.
Correct, because it's already there. I'm not I'm not telling you anything that hopefully deep inside of you you don't know. You already know this. I am allowing it for you to experience it so you can take it home.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
I want you to talk about your workshop. And actually, I'm going to put the link under this post. I
Mhm.
forgot to do that earlier, but I'm definitely going to add the link to your workshop in this post. So can you give us an overview of the workshop?
Absolutely.
And what
Thank
is
you.
it called?
The workshop is called Create and Experience Magic in Your Life.
Oh, just like the topic of the show.
Yes, that's why I suggested
How
that title.
convenient.
So it is a fantastic workshop. It is through Zoom. Currently, it's through Zoom because what we're not able to do physical.
Yeah.
But what it is 5 Zoom sessions, just like this. They're 1 hour, between 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes. And we go through those 5 classes. I give first the theory of how to break that habit of what has been stopping you, preventing you from realizing who you are. And in the middle of the sessions to the last 3, because it's a total of 5, so through the last 3, you create your own script so you know what to do when you close your eyes and what are you doing and what's happening inside of you. So then the more you practice, the more your reality changes around you. So that's the basic premise of the workshop, and it's 5 days, and we're starting June 21st.
Awesome.
Sorry,
Awesome. So
5
there's
Sundays. Yeah.
workbooks, not workbooks, but exercises that we're going to do,
There-
answering questions. And yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like it is an interactive workshop because now it's not just me talking to camera. So my purpose and my intention and what I've done in the past is create a safe environment where you can ask anything you want. My material, as a good friend of mine says, is RR, religiously respectful. Because what I
Mhm.
want you is to experience miracles. So
Mhm.
I cannot judge anything you want to experience.
Mhm.
Bring it on. Ask me the questions. Ask me the tough questions. So it's more about creating a space where you can understand what to do, why hasn't it maybe worked in the past, and for you to allow that comfort, childlike wonder to come out again.
That's cool. So okay, so you have an offer for our audience today, Rodrigo, through
I
Della's
do.
voice.
I do.
Okay.
You want me to give it right now?
Yeah.
Thank you. So the course is $197 for the 5 classes. But what I'm doing as a early bird Della's voice price is actually I'm dropping it to $97. So it is an Eventbrite. You can go to the Eventbrite link. It's going to be here at Della's Voice. So it's $97 for the 5 sessions. So it's really just like comes to $20 per session.
Oh, that's so.
And what I'm doing is, I think for Della's Voice only, if you sign up, you tell me what's the time.
So it's 1:53 Eastern Standard Time, PM.
So if you sign up today, it includes a copy of my book, Sleight of Mind, How to Create
Woo!
and Experience Magic in Your Life. That is,
Awesome.
and we can work out the details so you get the book all safe and whatnot.
Okay.
But that's the offer that I have for Della's Voice.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So people can actually reach out to you. We're going to put well, they have you on the post, so you're tagged. So people can reach out to you with their name, their first name, their last name, and their email address. They can get all the right information. But we can also put the event on the post here for Eventbrite. Rodrigo's workshop. Um, wow, how to create and experience magic in your life. 5 sessions, 1 hour sessions, did you say?
Correct. Yes.
Wow, that's 5 hours of workshop, and you're offering it for us for half off. Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Absolutely.
I want to reiterate what you just said. I had a friend, Rodrigo, and she was so good at creating magic. And I remember this is back before my spiritual awakening. It always seemed to me like, and I say that because a lot of people can resonate with this, that she lived in La La Land. And now I'm looking at that and saying she was creating magic in her life. For those few minutes that she was talking about her dream life, as you put it, she was creating the miracle. She was creating magic. And so I want to say that now with humility, that I was wrong to say La La Land is such a bad place, because as a matter of fact, I think La La Land is a wonderful place, because that's where magic happens. That's where you're letting your imagination loose. What do you think?
Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So for the most brilliant brain on the 20th century to say that, it's mind-blowing. So I would encourage you at home to think about this. He also said this, and that's a little bit of my transformation journey. There are only 2 ways to live this life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. And the second one is as though everything is a miracle. It's your choice. It's your choice.
I love
Right?
it. Yes.
Your choice.
Yes. Yes. Sounds so much better, right? Living it as though everything is a miracle. Take nothing for granted.
Yes.
What's next for Rodrigo Diaz Mercado?
Ooh, you caught me in a very interesting time of my life where I am grateful for the time that I had been given to be inside of my home, because it has allowed me to start writing my second book.
Ooh.
So stay tuned, it will come out, but it has inspired me to tell myself, this is me. I don't want anyone to go through life without knowing that they already have everything they need to live a happy life. So through my writing, through my workshops, that's what's next, is fully allowing that life to manifest into this world.
Thank you, my friend. Can you show us that sleight of hand one more time?
Wow, absolutely. It was that good, huh?
I liked it.
Well, I can show you how sometimes I put it on, so that, right? And if you go slow, like I'm even gonna grab my pinky around the ring, right? And just go through it.
What? What?
It just
What?
went through my finger.
What?
Again, I'm wrapping the pinky there, right? Just goes through.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, that's not just like Zoom magic or anything
No,
like that, you all. Okay, he actually just did that.
it's
Holy moly.
it's funny because I have a lecture, like imagine a TED Talk lecture where I interact with the audience and I bring them up stage and I give concepts from my book, and they actually are able to experience real magic. So I just love the interaction, and I hope at home you understand that it is real. I'm not doing anything with the camera.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
so good, Rodrigo. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Amazing. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, one last message. Just childlike wonder. You know it, it's in there. It never left. And there's magic all around you, but especially there's magic inside of you. So thank you, Della, for having me today.
That's so good.
Mhm.
Thank you for giving us that, Rodrigo. That was amazing. Thank you. Certainly a lot to think about. Let your let let your magic show itself,
Yes.
right? Let your childlike wonder flourish again,
Let's
because
come
you
out
want
and
to.
play.
Yes,
Come out and play.
let's create and experience magic.
Mhm. Yes.
That is the intention of today's talk. And I want to thank you, Rodrigo. Muchas gracias, amigo,
De nada.
for being here, and for everyone who's been watching.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you.
so much for tuning in. Check out his workshop and take advantage of this amazing offer. It's very generous. I want to thank you so much for sharing this blessing with us. And as always, this is Della's voice, hoping to spark your soul. See you next time.
Bye.